Hello and welcome to PCMag Live. I'm Dan Costa, he is Sascha Segan, and we've got a killer show for you today. We're going to talk about the top tech stories of the day. We're going to go into the lab and take one cool thing off the shelf to show it to you live on camera, and we're going to answer some of your reader questions. So let's just get to the top story of the day. iPhone rumors. How is it we are still talking about iPhone rumors after the iPhone has come out, but there are rumors that Apple is working on a curved iPhone screen. Sascha, does this surprise you?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. So Apple has said twice, they've shown this video twice, there are 1,000 no's for every yes. And what that means is that any cutting edge technology is at this point somewhere in Apple's labs, and they're trying it, and they're trying to figure out, oh, do we like this? Do we not like this? That doesn't mean it's going to be a product. It just means it is their responsibility. It is their due diligence. If Samsung and LG and everybody else are trying out this curved glass, they got to try the curved glass too. They got to see if it works for them. It might not work for them. It might not.
Basically, any new innovation that's going to happen in the smartphone space, Apple is going to at least look at it. That's what these stories are. They keep popping up. But there are some advantages to having that slightly curved screen that, we've been talking to one of the friends of PCMag Race Scenario about, that there are some optical advantages to actually curving that screen a little bit, and it cuts down on some of the background glare.
And in fact, Ray explained why the current iPhone curved screen rumors are particularly bizarre, because the new Samsung curved screen phone has a slightly concave screen. And Ray analyzed it and found that that reduces reflectivity, improves visibility, generally makes the screen more viewable. But the latest curved screen Apple rumor is that it would have a convex screen. And Ray said that basically flouts all principles of optics. It's a lousy idea. So you can see that these are just concepts that Apple is working with and kind of experimenting with, and this doesn't mean that this is what the iPhone 6 is going to look like.
Also in the news today, Apple kind of surprised us by putting the iPad mini with Retina on sale today. You can order it online. It's available in some retail stores, or although a little hard to get in New York City right now. This timing was a little bit off key. We didn't know that it was going to happen today.
No, I mean, most observers had expected it to be November 21st. Instead, it's November 12th. The iPad mini with Retina, the big question about it was supply constraints. It was, how long is it going to take Apple to build up enough iPad minis that they could feel safe putting it on sale without it going out of stock immediately? And I guess they got it together a week or two early.
All right, so you can go there. We'll be getting our units soon. We'll have a review up as soon as possible, possibly tomorrow. Not to put too much pressure on you to rush it through. Also in the news today, there's a great, fascinating story that the International Space Station has acquired a virus. This is because a Russian cosmonaut went up there with a USB key that was infected with Stuxnet and plugged it into a system on the International Space Station. Now this is interesting because although the space station is not directly connected to the internet, it still acquired this very nasty virus. Kind of a lesson to everyone that these viruses can get across any border.
Well, I mean, there's two interesting things about this story. Number one is that, yes, you can get a virus onto anything by bridging that air gap. Okay, that SneakerNet still exists, and no matter how high security your information security is, if you're allowing people to plug random devices into your devices, they are going to bring viruses from the outside in, and that even happens in high security military and space contexts. The other thing I think is really interesting is how Stuxnet, which was supposed to be a controlled bit of cyber warfare, has become completely uncontrolled, and how these weapons are totally out of the control of their creators.
Yeah, and this is one of the talking point that Eugene Kaspersky brought up, was that this was developed. They know that it's being spread without anybody really controlling it. Nobody really knows who built it. Everybody's assuming that it was the Americans and the Israelis in order to slow down development of
Iranian nuclear program.
But it has gone far beyond that and could blow back on U.S. facilities because there's really no controlling where this can happen. Obviously, if it can get up into space, it can get into centrifuges here in the United States as well. Mm-hmm. So a nasty story that we'll be following on Security Watch. Also in the news today, Google Glass is getting an upgrade. I am wearing a Google Glass right now, in case you didn't notice that. It will now be able to recognize music. I have been listening to music in my office, and it will automatically prompt you and recognize that song. So you've got like a little bit of sound tracking built into the Google Glass. I think it's kind of a neat feature. They're also going to add headphones so that you can listen to music on it. They've got a great demo video. I think this is kind of neat for a prototype that is not available for sale. Sascha, you were less impressed by the Google Glass.
Unfortunately, it still lacks the one critical command that Google Glass needs, which is, okay, Glass, don't look like a douche. Because you can't control it. If you have that thing on, I know, Dan, you're not a douche. You're a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
You're a very respectable,
appreciate
upstanding guy. Unfortunately, wearing that thing, you look like a douche.
You
look like an elitist Silicon Valley, runs over small children in your Tesla jerk. Okay.
Before it lights on fire.
Exactly. And that has to do with this being, it's not even the Google Glass itself, it's the way the Google Glass has become this totem of this hideous Silicon Valley crowd. And their little shibboleth of, oh, I'm one of the 12 people who has a Google Glass. Watch me.
I think there are a couple thousand
take
now,
videos of everything. Okay, I have my democratized Google Glass here. This is going to be the next version. Okay, I need to take my glasses off. It's not compatible.
This is it. Google Glass for the people.
Google Glass for the people. It's right here. Okay, and I would say I have much more processing power. It is, I could say...
It's got a better camera.
It's got a much better camera.
Longer battery life, I think, is
say,
another advantage to this.
And it's voice controllable. I could say, okay, Google now.
Yeah, I think that...
How's the weather in New York City right now?
Can you read that screen?
It'll tell me.
It's 38 degrees and partly cloudy in New York.
See, I just beat Google Glass down.
And you only lost one eye for that.
What do you really need depth perception for?
Google Glass will be up on all of the new prototypes, including this. Have you come up with a name for that?
I'm working on it. Google Glass for the people does
Perhaps
feel like a good direction.
might I suggest Groucho Glass?
Okay.
Groucho Glass. Sascha Segan, you saw it here first on PCMag Live. Groucho Glass. Let's get that trademarked and patented ASAP. Let's move on to a reader question. We have a reader who wants to take pictures at night. His name's Charles S. He sent us this via email. And he says, while walking his dog, he walks his dog in the woods, he gets the ideas for lots of great pictures. He wants to have a camera that will take low-light photography at night while he's walking his dog.
Google Glass won't do that.
Google Glass will not do that. Not a great low-light camera. But he still wants to keep an eye on his dog, and he wants some help. He asked Jim Fisher, our camera analyst, for some suggestions. Not great news for Charles S.
I mean, ultimately, photography depends on light. And if you have very little light, you are either going to need to stand very still and use a tripod, or your options are going to be really limited.
Yeah, we've got a list of great low-light cameras, but when we do a list of low-light cameras, those are cameras that will be working indoors with not a lot of natural light. To take pictures at night, you really need you need lighting, you need a tripod, you need long exposure times. To take those really cool nighttime photos, you're going to need a setup, and you're not going to be able to do it while your dog is taking care of his business. Mm-hmm. So sorry, Charles, we don't have a great answer for you there, but I think you're going to need to put a little bit more work into it and spend a little bit more money on equipment. So that was our reader question. Let's move on to our one cool thing.
Where is it? It wasn't supposed to be here.
Our one cool thing is inbound. It is the Roomba 880.
Oh, hello there, my little friend.
Coming in.
You could totally put speakers on that, and it would really be awesome at parties.
Oh, all right. It does not like being picked up.
It's complaining.
It does not like being picked up. But this is the Roomba 880, the latest version of the Roomba vacuum machine. And the new thing about this is that it is a brushless vacuum, which is supposedly going to make it better at picking up pet hair and cat hair and dog hair and all those types of things.
It's one of the few categories of product which is better the more it sucks.
That is exactly right. And it's more powerful. They say this is the 800 series of the device. Looks a lot like the previous version, but evidently twice the suction.
Yeah.
Twice the suction. So much more power. And we'll see. It's been cleaning up in the lab for the last day. It has a remote control, which we are operating right there, so you can actually move it around. There's the remote control.
But of course, you're not supposed to really use a Roomba on its remote control most of the time. The point with Roomba is that it vacuums by itself.
Yeah.
It putters around your house. It's this funny little robot pet that's doing your chores for you. And you set up these little lighthouses in places you don't want it to go in your house. And it keeps your house from becoming a hideous clot of cat hair that's featured on hoarders.
Yeah, you can use it to navigate and clean up messes, but you can just use a vacuum for that too. This is supposed to clean while you're not home. It's supposed to take care of it, and it does a pretty good job of that.
It's the maintenance cleaner.
It's the maintenance cleaner. $700. This is the top of the line Roomba. You can get a Roomba for $350, a model that's a couple of years old. Those are still on the market, so there's a wide selection of different Roombas to choose from.
But the big question here is about your surfaces and what you're trying to suck up. So, for instance, you may have this serious pet hair situation on slick places or places that the other Roombas with their brushes aren't doing too well with. In that case, you need this model. This is going to do you.
$700.
That's the price you pay for convenience.
$700. So it's not a cheap robot, but for luxury, for the top of the line, this is what you can get. As I said, there are cheaper Roombas you can buy. You can read about this Roomba and all the other Roombas on the market on PCMag.com. They do make great gifts. That's PCMag Live for today. I want to thank you for joining us, and remember to send us your questions via Facebook, on Instagram, via email. We will answer them on air. If you have opinions about Google Glass, send us those as well. If you have ideas for new Groucho, how we can bring this the Groucho Glass to market, send us those ideas as well. We will appreciate them. Thanks for joining us.